sensor had gone $700.
No. Take some time.
Apparently, there's reason for that.
Time with toys.
Definitely good reason for that. True.
We have friends at the media with us tonight.
I was gonna.
Actually, in Thailand.
Oh, that's right.
Miguel's in Thailand. Well, good evening, council, members of the public, staff team, friends at the media that are not here, but I'm sure they'll have questions after. Now I'd like to call the Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, regular meeting of council to order. First up under 2.1, adoption of this evening's agenda, moved by Councillor Mullock, seconded by Councillor Blanchette. Any additions or deletions, please? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. A plethora of minutes to adopt, starting with 3.1, the minutes of September 9, 2025, regular meeting of council. Moved by Councillor McLean, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Any errors or omissions arising? All in favor? It's carried. 3.2, the minutes of September 18th, 2025, special meeting of council. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Mullock. Any errors or omissions arising? All in favor? It's carried. Minutes of the previous committee of the whole meeting being September the 3rd, 2025. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, seconded by Councillor McLean. Any errors or omissions there? All in favor? It's carried. 3.2 would be the Traffic and Transportation Committee meeting of October 27th. We're not there yet. August 27th, 2025. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Blanchette. Any errors or omissions arising? Comments?
Just a thank you to everybody that participated in the Traffic and Transportation Committee.
Good, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. No open delegations this evening, so under administrative reports, looking at the collaborative disaster risk reduction and climate adaptation under 5.1, we're looking at this for information. Any questions, comments on this collaborative report?
A wee bit of reading involved.
It was a gooder. Looking forward to next steps and tangible outcomes. 5.2, Robson Valley Community Services request for situation tables, grant application support. Looking for a couple of resolutions here, please, council. Bear with me. First one, council approves staff to apply in coordination with the Robson Valley Community Services to the BC Ministry of Public Safety's Collaborative Public Safety Programs, CPSP, for situation tables funding in the amount of $50,000. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Mullock. Discussion. Councillor Pearson.
Yeah, I mean, 100% support. The one thing I'm looking at in previous conversations for this type of granting, we were discouraged from looking at any flow-through grant funding where it comes through the village to a third party. So looking for some clarification that that's not the case, and then we'll carry on the discussion further.
Madam Administrator.
What we've proposed in this report is that the village administer the grant, the village be the grant recipient and the administrator of it, as opposed to handing over administration responsibility to the RVCS, which would then be a flow-through grant.
Follow up.
Following that, then, is there provisions in this grant application for admin fees for the village for the time, staff time involved? This is going to be pretty comprehensive, so.
Madam Administrator, any comments?
My
I
finance
didn't-
director says no.
I didn't see a line item for administrative percentages. Further follow-up?
Well, if there isn't a line provided, I would like to see one. And So I don't know how you assign a value, but I would move that we look to having a line item in the grant application for staff time and expenses in administering this grant.
That sounded like an amendment to the motion. So if I heard that correctly, council approves staff to apply in coordination with Robson Valley Community Services to the BC Ministry of Public Safety's Collaborative Public Safety Program, CPSP, for situation tables funding in the amount of $50,000 and with a line item in a percentage amount not disclosed at this time for administrative.
For Village of Valemount administrative expenses.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Mullick seconds the amendment. On the amendment discussion? Councillor Blanchette?
It'll just be run the same way when we do the Ready Grant. We have a line item exactly like this when we do the Ready Grant stuff.
Looking
Right.
to the director. Where is she? There she is. Looking to the director for comparison to the Ready Grant and administration fees associated. Could we perhaps vote on this without the amendment, work through this from a staff and receive a staff report outlining the amount of administrative effort needed to administer this grant, and then for future grants coming, future grant collaborative opportunities, look at a percentage point after?
I would, excuse me, respectfully, I would disagree in that I don't think the village taxpayers should have to pay our staff time to administer. I think it's only reasonable that there's an administration fee. I mean, any organization that does their own granting includes an administration fee, and I'm sure it would be the same here. So if we're going to do the legwork, I think we need to be compensated.
Okay, and what is the admin fee for Ready? %5 of 400,000-ish. 280 is what we typically get. Madam Administrator?
If I could ask the Director of Finance, what was the RMI admin fee again?
Okay, well, let's get, we'll need a percentage point if we're going to move forward, so looking back to the mover and the seconder to put a percentage point down.
Well, yeah, that makes it tough because, I mean, I have no idea what our staff time is going to involve dollar-wise, but
This is why I thought it might be a learning opportunity to, when we're looking at collaborative grants like this, what is actually involved, and then come back and say, whoa, we need 15%, we need 1%, because right now I don't know what this is going to entail for the staff team.
yeah, because I mean, if we're looking at 5%, I mean, that's $2,500. That doesn't cover a lot of staff time. But I mean, I would be willing to go with 5% as a starting point. Want the project to go ahead, but I also want not to burden the village, so.
Looking for some procedural assistance, Ms. Shepherd. We have to cap it.
You could allow staff to negotiate.
Mover and seconder, you're okay with that? Okay. You have the spirit of the resolution there, of the amendment?
This is the amendment.
Any further discussion on the amendment? All in favor? Opposed? Carried? Any further discussion on the resolution as amended? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The second recommendation here, the council approves the provision of a letter of support to RVCS for the establishment of a situation table in Valemount. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor McLean. Discussion? Councillor Pearson.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what comes out of this. I mean, it was a really good read, seeing what's involved, so 100% support it, and hopefully we can make it work.
Right on. Further discussion? All in favor? Carried. 6.1 under bylaws and policies. Looking to adopt Village of Valemount bylaw notice enforcement and dispute adjudication amendment bylaw number 903 2025 as presented. Moved by Councillor Mullock, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Discussion on final. All in favor? Carried. 6.2 Village of Valemount Cemetery Amendment Bylaw number 685 2012, Amendment Bylaw number 912 2025 be given first, second, and third. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor McLean. Discussion. Up and up, columbarium. All in favor? It's carried. 6.3 Village of Valemount Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 847 2021, Amendment Bylaw number 913 2025 be given first and second. Under 6.3, moved by Councillor Pearson, second by Councillor Mullock. Discussion on first and second. All in favor? Carried. Reading file, anything folks want to bring to surface? Pretty extensive. Councillor Pearson?
Yeah, just kind of encouraging to see some positive numbers in the RCMP report. Some not as positive, but overall, I think numbers are looking and trending in the right way.
Yeah. Agreed. Rest of council? Are you very aware from the State of the Basin report?
After reading the news about what happened on the Pass Lake area.
Okay. We do have correspondence of action, for action from under 9.1 from VARDA, Valemount Area Recreation Development Association, looking to appoint a representative to the VARDA Board of Directors for a one-year term, commence November 5, 2025. Councillor Blanchette,
I propose that we appoint you.
seconder. You said
You.
me?
Yes.
Not Hugo.
Yeah, you. Sorry.
The way he was looking at me, he's like,
Yeah, eyes
Deer
got a
in the
little big.
headlights.
Yeah,
Trick or treat.
I was just going to say very quiet there.
is there a seconder of appointing me to VARDA? Councillor McLean, thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Is there a notice of motion to be brought forward this evening?
Right.
And then time for council reports. Fairly extensive, I'm guessing, from most of us, but we'll start with Councillor Blanchette.
Didn't bring my phone, so I'm not sure what I've got, but I know that on September 18th, we had a meeting here. And then I held down the fort while you guys were all partying and hooping it up on the island.
Yes. Thank you. Councillor Mullock?
Okay, September 10th, I attended a industrial park AGM in the role as deputy mayor. September 12th, attend BC Housing grand opening of Valemount Senior Citizens Housing Society Ash Street Housing Project, again in the role as Deputy Mayor. September 15th, the Regional Advisory Committee on the NDIT meeting. September 16th, Entertainment Society, AGM. September 17th, the SIMP and the Village of Valemount Working Group meeting. September 18th, Special Council meeting. So September 22nd to 26th, attend UBCM in Victoria, highlights of which follow. On September 22nd, attended a Resort Communities Collaborative meeting, and again, a role as Deputy Mayor. September 23rd, meeting with Minister for Public Safety and Solicitor General, Minister of State for Community Safety, and Deputy Solicitor General, meeting with the Village of Valemount colleagues. September 24th, meeting with Northern Health CEO, with Village of Valemount colleagues as well. September 25th, meeting with BC Hydro Senior Vice President and representatives, with Village of Valemount colleagues. Also on that evening, attended the NDIT 20th anniversary function, and that was pretty cool. You know, there was good attendance, and it was really neat. You know, this building was the start of that 20 years, so it was kind of nice being there and talking about things like that. Pretty important function that organization manages. October 9th, Tourism Association of BC roundtable discussion. First time I've had to go with 2 pages. October 14th, tourism meeting and strategic planning session, and also a meeting today with School District 57 representatives, again with Village of Valemount colleagues. And yeah, just say I whipped over the UBCM. There was so many good things, so many positive things this year. This was probably my favorite one, because I felt that we came away with some real positive feelings with this one in the meetings, in the discussions that happened with the various ministers. It just seemed to be, you know, a lot more back and forth with discussions. It was, you know, everybody listening and you know, possibly looking at ideas this time, where in the past I felt that maybe they were, you know, just thinking happy thoughts and well wishes. But this one just seemed to me, it seemed to have more substance, and I was quite happy with that. And I guess also a note, you know, Corey Ramsey being voted in as president of the UBCM. It's really nice to see how well represented the North is with UBCM.
6 representatives on UBCM this year.
Yeah, that was,
North.
yeah, and all very capable people. So I really look forward to see where that takes us. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councillor McLean?
Okay, I'll start with my regular council activity report and then go on to a couple highlights from the UBCM. It was a busy time, so we don't want to, we could take the whole 2 hours up. So on the 17th, I attended the regular meeting of the Valemount Community Forest. On the 18th, there was a special council meeting. On the 14th, which is today, there was a Columbia Basin Trust Treaty Negotiation Local Government Committee regular meeting this morning. And then this afternoon, of course, I attended the local meeting between council and the School District 57 board. So while we were down at the UBCM, the highlights that I felt were, of course, the meeting with the Minister of Public Safety and the Attorney General, and the meeting with Northern Health leaders, the resource breakfast forestry, featuring the Honourable Ravi Parmer, Minister of Forests, and the Honourable Randine Neal, Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship. One special thing that came out of that was Minister Parmer's announcement that his ministry intends to expand community forest volumes through a yet to be established intake process. I also attended a Strengthening Wildfire Resilience through Leadership workshop, which is very relevant to Valemount. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pearson?
Okay, mine also would have been 2 pages, but I went to a smaller font this time. September 10th, we had the Canoe Valley Recreation Center Community Collaborative Committee meeting, discussing operations and the way forward for the arena. It was kind of ironic because part of the discussion was putting off public survey and open house on the operations due to potential labor issues. So we'll see where that goes in the future. And then raced from the arena over to the Legion for the Valemount Industrial Park AGM. Yeah, I think it was a good meeting. Some good questions were asked. September 11th, Valemount Senior Citizens Housing Society Ash Street Housing Project grand opening. Lovely building. Looking forward to seeing it filled and operation as a hub for the senior community. September 17th, Simp First Nation Village of Valemount Working Group meeting, along with CAO Yansu and Councillor Mullick. Good conversation with our neighbors to the south. That was followed by a Valemount Historic Society meeting. September 18th, special meeting of council. Then our whirlwind week of UBCM. So a few highlights. Most of this was mentioned, but on the first day, on the Monday, there was a healthcare heart of the community session with a panel and discussing the state of healthcare in the communities, and a lot of very similar issues. The one thing that's kind of different for us is most communities are struggling for family doctors, where we tend to have a very stable family doctor
Tell everybody.
staff. I know. But it's more dealing with diversions and stuff like that in other communities. And it's interesting, a lot of local governments are taking on the role as advocates and recruiters for their communities for healthcare. So they're putting out, doing red carpet welcomes, welcome packages, and they're recruiting hard, and they're sniping from wherever they can to get staff. So
Buying houses.
I've heard rumors of that. So yeah, I mean, some communities have actually formed within local government a recruitment committee dealing with housing, welcomes, action plans, and stuff like that. So that evening, there was a resilient local leaders charting the course to support mental health in local leaders meetings. And I think there was about 140 people in the room. It was actually in the theater lecture room. And very good discussion. The keynote speaker was Corey Hirsch, speaking of his struggles in recovery through OCD and near suicide. So yeah, it was a good discussion. After the previous year's UBCM, also a very good group. And a group was started where if you put your business card in, they'd start a monthly phone call group for support. And after that meeting, there were 62 members on the group, and we'll see if that number increases after this year. So September 23rd, ministers meeting with Minister Krieger regarding highway safety, interprovincial enforcement. Then sat in the road ahead for BC's economy session. Modest growth and big challenges is what it was titled. I'll tell you, it was a sobering session to sit through. The finance men are sitting there sort of explaining their role, and there was 3 people from the financial industry talking on where we are with an 11.6 billion deficit and how we're going to spend our way out of this. So kind of come out of there with your coattails dragging a little bit. The 24th, opening ceremonies and business sessions. Keynote address by Marcy Grossman, who was the first female and Jewish ambassador to the United Arab Emirates. Very great speaker, great history. We also were doing elections and resolutions, but we ran into a bit of a bandwidth problem. They could not support everybody in the room with electronic devices for online voting, so back to paper ballots. It was kind of fun to see other people struggle with bandwidth. Got it in twice.
Haven't heard connectivity yet.
Resolution session started. Minister of State for Local Government, Brittany Anderson, and then our meeting with Northern Health regarding staffing, recruitment, retention for nursing and community care. Mayor, Council, CAO, and our MLA, Rosalind Bird, were in attendance for a good, healthy discussion. September 25th, meeting with BC Hydro regarding funding for air quality study. It came out sounding pretty positive when we came out of that one, so we'll see how that goes. We got back into resolutions, addressed by the Leader of the Opposition, John Rustad, and then also the strengthening wildfire resilience through leadership. September 26th, we got back into resolutions, interrupted by the address by the Federal Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, MP Gregor Robertson. Back to resolutions, which concluded with only about 35% of the resolutions making it to the floor for debate. It's an ongoing thing. They're looking at trying to fix the solution so that more of the work is done on the floor. And in the installation of President-elect Corey Ramsey, councillor from Prince George. The port draw, nobody local won. The address by the Premier David Eby. And then October 2nd, VIP regular meeting, and October 7th, the Valemount Community Wellness Table meeting. That's my week.
That's it, eh? September 11th to the 13th, I was in Radium for all things CBT, including their annual general meeting, executive committee, regular board, and a joint meeting with Columbia Power Corp Board of Directors. September 14th, we had a planned outage if nobody knew, but big thanks to our local line crews that kept the lights on for that 12-hour maintenance work down the line. September 15th, I participated in a BC Timber Sales Category 4 committee meeting. Really trying to stress how Category 1, which is your larger players, your larger licensees bidding on small business sales in the, 75 to 100,000 cubic meter sort of realm, where does Cat 4, which is supposed to be a percentage of that, how are they supposed to bid on the same thing against a Category 1 organization when you only need 3,000 meters of hemlock or large diameter spruce? So really trying to get some things changed there. September the 18th, had regional district and regional hospital board meetings. UBCM, real quick, 58,964 steps for a total of 44.49 kilometers, averaging 8.89 kilometers per day. It was active, according to my watch. Thank you to Councillor Mullock and CAO Yansu for representing us with the other resort communities with the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture, and Sport. Met with Ministry of Public Safety, Solicitor General. Hopefully they're wanting to, after that meeting, pick up the phone and talk to their Alberta colleagues. And then later that day, participated in the Municipal Insurance Association, AGM, which have adopted a form of text dissemination for the benefit of their members. So they use the use of AI to dumb down legalese for the benefit of their, for the insured. So this is your policy in legalese. this is your policy in not quite legalese. What do you think? And it's batting at about 98% average. 24th, participated in Regional District East Kootenai plan meeting between the Regional Connectivity Committee reps and the Ministry of Citizen Services. Also took in the keynote address by Marcy Grossman, the resolution session, as well as the address by the Minister of State for Local Governments, and the meeting with Northern Health Authority at the end of the day. 25th, air quality with BC Hydro, more resolutions. The delegates' lunch received a Local Government Leadership Academy Certificate of Excellence, and then sat in with the Regional District Fraser Fort George meeting with the Ministry of Force. That one was based around forests are more than just logging. There's other community values within them, such as recreation and backcountry access. The whole thing was stemming around the Forest Service road closures, the bridges, putting a zero tonnage rating on certain bridges, and the fact that there's current legislation within the Forestry Act that limits the actual minister from gifting bridges and sections of road without a road user agreement in place. So asking very quaintly to have a look at the legislation and consider amending it. September 26th, I had a meeting in Richmond between flights with David Balcony with an introduction to the BC Aviation Council. Sort of wrapping up my UBCM experience, I want to thank Chief George Lampro, Chief Dolene Logan. Both were in Victoria supporting both Valemount and the Regional District Fraser Fort George. And of course, to our CAO, Yansu, for the staff support on site, and to her team for the prep work and creation of packages to make us all well prepared while there. September 29th, had a Fraser Basin Council governance meeting. October the 1st, an intro meeting to Dave Frank, the Executive Director of BC Aviation Council. October the 3rd, a virtual meeting with our returned Economic Development Officer, Orlando Goodell, our CAO, and Miles Bruns, who you'll remember from yesteryear being the Regional Manager of Ministry of Job, Economic Development, and Innovation. October the 3rd, had an intro meeting between our Superintendent of Public Works, Mr. Pelche, and aggregate reps from Simp Resources Group. And then on the 8th and the 9th, Fraser Basin Council Board meeting, which involved about 90% of it was strategic planning. And the board welcomed new chair and former Lieutenant Governor Janet Austin, and new CEO Zita Bothello taking over for David Marshall. David Marshall retired. October the 9th, roundtable discussion with area tourism sector operators and the CEO of the Tourism Industry Association of BC, Walt Judas, and representatives from TOTA, Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association. October the 10th, had an interview with Rocky Mountain Goat News, followed that evening with a town hall with the regional district, a couple of board members, so Mayor Runts, Director Allen, myself, Chair Beckett, and CAO Calder in Dunster with Valemount and McBride residents around the ice rinks, how we can improve messaging and avoid what is a 1 in 60-year event and potential job action during the start of the hockey season. Town hall. October the 14th, I had, well, just today, had a meet and greet with our school district board, school district 57 board members and superintendent of schools. And then somewhere in there, I think we had 5, 6, or 7 scheduled check-in meetings, or I had check-in meetings with our CAO. Questions, comments? Amazing what happens when you only have one meeting a month. One council meeting per month. To your point about it felt good leaving those minister meetings. I put a lot on it that they're new to their roles, and thankful for that cabinet shuffle just before UBCM, so nobody could be prepared for us. Calendar of events under 13.1 are there for information for October and November. And then under 14.1, we do have time for public comments this evening on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda. Are there any public comments this evening? Sir, to the podium, just your name and your area of residence, please.
So my name is Derek Shaw. I sometimes feel like I live at 201 Ash Street, but technically my address is...
We don't need your address,
don't
just
need my
your
address?
area. Yeah.
Dunster. I live in Dunster and spend most of my time in Valemount. So as the principal of the secondary school, I would like to thank, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to verbally express my support for the motion that you had discussed earlier with regards to the situation table that's been applied for by RVCS. The need for communication is huge when you're looking at people who are at elevated levels of risk. And personally, I believe that there's I acknowledge and appreciate the discussion around funding for administrative time. But if we look at the bigger, broader picture of what the expense is going to be without a situation table, the stress, the anxiety, the financial costs that is upon our village as a community through emergency personnel, RCMP, doctors, nurses, every resource that we have in our community that works together to support families in need, that expense continues to grow. And I am a firm believer that the situation table will reduce that greatly moving forward. The importance of communication is not just communication, but I mean the accurate and inclusive and timely sharing of information when you're looking at people at elevated risks is critical to supporting families and individuals before their situation becomes a crisis and before the responses are needed from all those personnel that I spoke of earlier. And I think that a situation table will go a long ways to enabling us to deal with the stresses and the pieces, the factors that individuals and families might encounter that do affect our mental wellness. They could be anything from addictions, financial hardships, physical and social abuse in homes. All those things do weigh heavily and cause a lot of use of our time and energy, usually after an event happens. A situation table will go a long ways to allowing us to have the conversations openly, timely, to avoid the need for the emergency responses and the crisis response to support individuals in advance of the situation coming to a head. And I think that the level of collaboration that is built through a situation table is undoubtedly going to make a stronger, healthier, and more resilient community for all of us. So appreciate the time, Mr. Mayor and Council. More than willing to sit as a part of a committee that's looking at ways to make this happen. Wholeheartedly supportive of RVCS in their application, and I certainly hope that we can get people trained sooner than later, because the training is a key piece of being able to effectively meet. We meet now after an event with all of our resource partners, MCFD, RVCS, school district, RCMP, Northern Health, but it's always after the fact. And this training will allow us to be equipped to be able to gather information and share information timely and accurately to be able to support individuals and families before the events escalate. So thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for your comment. Are there any other public comments this evening? Okay. Then under 15.1, looking to council to give notice to proceed in camera, to a closed meeting for consideration of 4 items per section 91, A, C, D, and J of the community charter to discuss matters related to A, personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality or another position appointed by the municipality. C, labor relations or other employee relations. D, the security of the property of the municipality. And J, information that is prohibited or information that, if it were presented in a document, would be prohibited from disclosure under Section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. You want me to reread that? No? Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Mullick. All in favor? It's carried. That concludes our open session this evening.
Confusing for something else.
I'm not exactly sure how,
Short-term,
yes.
B&Bs, but then there's the vacation. It's the thing that you have to be living in the house and then,
Yeah, you can use part of the house, but you have to be living in
is
it.
that a short-term rental or
I
is that
think,
vacation?
I thought that was vacation.
Just going to go and turn off the mics, folks.
Yep.